Transforming your life through hypnotherapy has never been easier. With the help of your host, Julie from coachinghypnosis.net, and these power-packed minisodes, you're sure to find yourself engaging in more positive behaviors around both your physical and mental health. Here's your host, Julie.
G'day, it's Julie from coachinghypnosis.net, and you deserve to know how to unmask anti-Semitism and identify prejudice through historical perspectives, because people have had enough of being totally fine with the Jewish community and successfully thriving in a multicultural society, but being overwhelmed with disinformation at the same time. And I'm not a therapist or psychotherapist. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist in strategic psychotherapy. I currently help my clients online. They change their life without changing out of their pajamas. And I can only imagine someone like you is living life on the edge of freedom, taking charge of how you want to live your life. And you deserve the best existence ever, because you're perfect, even if you don't think you are just yet. And to quote from the paradox of our age, we've conquered outer space, but not inner space. We've done larger things, but not better things. We've cleaned the air, but polluted our souls. We've split the atom, but not our prejudice. So hey there, esteemed leader. Today I'm diving into this wacky subject because I have a hunch you're a leader in your community, a modern-day hero ready to save the day and bring out the best in everyone around you. And guess what? You deserve to know what's been happening behind the scenes so you can keep rocking your superhero cape. So hold on to your hats, because according to the United States Department of Justice's website, in 2021 they counted a whopping 1,590 incidents of hate crimes related to religion. At 51%, the anti-Jewish incidents stole the show. Next in line was some Turban trouble, with 11% anti-Sikh action, 9% anti-Islamic incidents, 6% anti-Catholic incidents, and finally 3% the anti-Eastern Orthodox crew, including Russian, Greek, and other contributing to this nonsense. Now, brace yourself for some mind-boggling facts from the National Public Radio NPR, the groove masters of the airwaves. In 2022, they reported a 36% rise in good old-fashioned anti-Semitism. But hey, that's not all. The bomb threats towards Jewish institutions, like schools and synagogues, skyrocketed from a measly 8 to a whopping 91. Talk about an explosive situation. According to the Anti-Defamation League, more than 1 billion people worldwide are rocking some seriously anti-Semitic attitudes. But here's a kicker. Let's put this into perspective. History shows us that we might be in the midst of a modern Cold War. And maybe what you might not know is all of the old Cold War propaganda and disinformation that was injected into that war. Because I can only imagine you're busy going about your day, helping people, focusing on what's great about life, and not how to upset the masses. So my Cape Crusader, let's take a quick peek into the history's archives and see what we can uncover. Get ready for a weird journey. And once upon a time, in a land far, far, far away, there were some creative events involving Russians, Germans, Jews, and even the Pope. Picture this. The Russians gathered once a year for a peculiar tradition known as Beat Up a Jew Day. Yep, you heard it right. For a whole 3 days, they were allowed to take a swing at anyone Jewish. Talk about a bizarre holiday. Now, back in 1905, things really started to get wacky. A Russian boy was tragically murdered by his own relatives. But guess what? The Russians decided it would be much more exciting to blame it on the Jews instead. You know how it goes. Every ruler needs a good enemy to keep things interesting, and the Tsars were no exception. Fast forward to the era of Stalin, the master of deception. He was on top of the world with dominion over countless countries, but his grand plan was to unite Germany under the communist revolution. Why? Well, Karl Marx was born in Germany, and Stalin took it as a personal challenge to see the country turn communist. But oh boy, did he miscalculate. The United States swooped in with the Berlin airlift, and NATO showed up, raining on Stalin's parade and ultimately crushing German communism. But wait, the fun doesn't stop there. The Russians had a knack for disinformation, and in 1957 they decided to reignite anti-Semitism in West Germany. It was like a bad soap opera plot, with a Stasi playing a starring role. They even roped in Romania, leveraging in its large German ethnic minority. They tested their evil plan in Russia by vandalizing a Jewish cemetery and successfully blaming it on the Germans. Then they took their show on the road to France, France, where the largest Jewish community became their next target. Totalitarianism needs an enemy to survive, right? And the infamous pogroms. In Russia, it means a good old massacre. The first pogrom took place in Ukraine in 1881, and from there it spread like wildfire throughout the Russian Empire. The poor Jews were blamed for everything, from Russia's military woes to their alleged passion for money grabbing. Talk about being born with a reputation. But here's the twist, it turns out it was all a big Russian hoax. In 1903, they even cooked up a fake book to spread anti-Semitism. And guess who fell for it? Hitler. It was like a bad case of telephone gone horribly wrong. The material was translated, made its way to the Middle East, and even ended up on TV. Talk about a wild ride. Now let's take a leap to the latter years. Stalin, growing up in Georgia, surrounded by Jews, decided to transform his anti-Semitism into a national and international policy. He framed fellow communists as American Zionist spies, political parties as American Zionist spies. His fellow communist friends and the leader of Hungary were taken down and framed as American Zionist spies. He even exiled his strongest supporter for marrying a Jew. Talk about family drama. Meanwhile, the 33rd President of the United States, Harry Truman, saw communism as the mortal enemy of all religions, leading him to embark on a Vatican crusade. He thought the Catholic Church would be the best ally to stop the communist expansion. It was like a grand showdown of ideologies. The KGB couldn't resist getting involved. They loved organizing liberation movements all over, blaming poverty around the world on the good old United States. And of course, everyone was poor because of the Americans and the American Zionist spies. The PLO, the National Liberation Armies, the World Council of Churches all became pawns in their game. In 1983, a group of 47 agents descended upon Vancouver to influence the election of the World Council of Churches General Secretary. Talk about meddling in religious affairs. They pushed the agenda, enforcing liberation theology like it was going out of style. And just when you thought things couldn't get any weirder, the South American liberation churches popped up like mushrooms in the 1970s. The Pope, however, knew better than to mix politics with religion. He understood that Jesus wasn't a politician, but a humble preacher spreading a message of love and compassion. Unfortunately, some folks got their wires crossed, and the information became as twisted as a pretzel. Fast forward to the present, or at least the present as I see it, because hey, time is a tricky thing. Cuba, Venezuela, Brazil, Argentina were all eyeing Russia's umbrella like it was the hottest fashion accessory. Latin America still seemed to have a penchant for all things red. It wasn't just because of their spicy salsa. But wait, there's more. Remember the Black Liberation Movement in the United States during the Barack Obama presidency? Well, they thought it would be cool to hop on the Marxist bandwagon. A few radicalized churches declared their love for Marxism and started preaching that Israel was the ultimate villain, a genocidal place straight out of a twisted comic book. Let's not forget the KGB's creative minds. In the swinging 1960s, they cooked up a plan to frame Pope Pius XII as a pro-Nazi. Oh, those cheeky Russians. They hosted the Christian Peace Conference disguised as concerned peace lovers. They even went as far as changing the history on the radio, claiming the Pope was from Germany and caught the anti-Semitic virus, becoming Hitler's favourite Holy Father. They even wrote a play called The Deputy, a Christian tragedy that toured in 1963. If they had the chance, they'll probably make a movie too, complete with popcorn and a side of political intrigue. Well, my friend, that's the crazy world we live in. A mix of historical events, bizarre conspiracies, and some seriously misguided ideas. Just when you think you can't get any more absurd, life throws you a curveball. So buckle up, buttercup, because who knows what twists and turns await us in the future. As the saying goes, truth is stranger than fiction, and boy does it keep us entertained. And right now, there are some wonderful psychology partygoers, not looking at history, but doing some fabulous research on a group of party poopers known as essentialist thinkers. Essentialist thinkers are like the world champions of stereotype endorsement. They raise a hand and say, hey, it's not their fault. Blame those wonky biological abnormalities. They're all mentally ill and dangerous and need to be in the unpredictable club. It's like they've entered a stereotyping Olympics and won the gold medal without even breaking a sweat. The essential thinking model proposes that biogenetic explanations reduce one form of stigma by promoting attributes attributions of personal uncontrollability. The sufferer's problems are ascribed to a biological abnormality over which they have no control, disarming any tendency to hold them responsible and blameworthy for their unusual behavior and experience. And I can only imagine someone like you embraces diversity, ditches the stereotypes, knows that skills are better than pills, and people have a remarkable ability to take control of their lives no matter what life throws at them, and have a blast on the dance floor of understanding and acceptance at the same time. And if you're a hypnotist or a master practitioner of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, you can't help notice the cause and effect language patterns of anti-Semitic headlines, their ill-formed structure, black and white thinking, and the absence of a polite filter. Typically, you find such usage of language in individuals struggling with drug addiction or athletes who have veered off track. I can only imagine that you know someone who's genuinely funny but has faced addiction issues. They tend to speak their minds without filtering their thoughts, but they excel in a particular area because their thinking lacks shades of grey. It's all or nothing. So it's amusing to think that the Russians once believed that the passion for acquisition and money grabbing is inherent in the Jew from the day of their birth, and it is characteristic of all Semitic race, manifesting from almost the first page of the Bible. This sentence is ill-formed, containing elements of global necessity, cause and effect, and most importantly, a nominalization. The phrase, the passion for acquisition and money grabbing, is a nominalization as it transforms the verb phrase, acquisition and money grabbing, into the noun phrase, the passion for acquisition and money grabbing. And maybe what you don't know is nominalizations have the ability to induce a trance-like state, activating the non-dominant hemisphere of the brain. Similar effects can be achieved through swearing, singing a song, or reciting familiar things like the alphabet. And I can only imagine someone like you appreciates peaceful songs occasionally sprinkled with light-hearted profanity and inspirational quotes that induce a loving trance rather than getting caught up in Cold War era nonsense. So let's not conclude on that note. Instead, let's re-establish our connection with our true selves and reaffirm our rights to exist on this earth. Now I invite you to partake in a brief hypnotic experience with a script titled Energy of the Earth. Now take a deep breath in, hold it, and let it go. Perfect. Now that you are enjoying a very beautiful place in your mind, I wonder if you can focus for a few moments on your body. Perfect. And take a deep breath. Let it out slowly and relax. Good. And I'm curious if you can continue to take a few slow, deep breaths. And I wonder if you can feel the energy from the breath you take permeating throughout your body, breathing into your chest and feeling your abdomen expand and release. Perfect. Now I'd like for you to imagine that with every breath that you take, every beat of your heart, that the energy you're breathing in is warm, bright, light. And every time that you breathe, it's pure light of energy. And I don't know if it's a spiritual kind of energy that's with you now. With every breath that you take, with every beat of your heart that you breathe in energy that is within you. And exhale anything negative that you might have picked up along the way. The light is with you every breath. Expand the breath now as you feel you're breathing all the way down to your feet. And as you feel you're breathing all the way down to your feet, you can feel the energy pulling up, releasing any stress with every breath you take. It releases all tension, any stress with every breath. You feel comfortable. Perfect. And now I invite you to imagine that there are energy fibers or optic cables extending out from your feet that are going to wiggle out from your feet and extend the energy all the way to the earth. It doesn't matter how far above the earth we are at this point, but these fibers can instantly wiggle their way and pull the energy up, just like fiber optics can into you, into your central being. So imagine the fibers going deeply, deeply into the earth, and you're making a connection, breathing through them, feeling the energy come up through them, and totally permeating your entire being. Perfect. You are one with the earth. You are one with the earth. The earth nurtures you. You also nurture it back. It is a constant evolution and recycling process. You are being nurtured by the earth, and with each breath you take, the energy calming you, making you peaceful, purifying you and balancing you, and you reciprocate by nurturing the earth, by becoming more sensitive to the earth's needs, and by doing things in your mind and in your thoughts and in your actions that will precipitate this wonderful coexistence. You feel at one with the earth, totally in bliss, and as you continue to feel this oneness with your Mother Earth, knowing that it is the source of your physical supplies, here while you experience this existence, feel the force, the energy, the nurture of the minerals, of the water, of the soil itself. Perfect. And I wonder if you can think of all the different styles of the soil that there are. Chemistry is exchanged between you and the earth, knowing that you are also going to give to it, to also give back everything that it's given to you fully and completely, and appreciating it. You now appreciate your oneness with the earth as you co-create. Insights are now coming to you as far as how you can reciprocate and how you can share this planet and how you can walk in one with its energy. You're one with the earth is also one with you. So what if you thought about anti-Semitism differently? And what if you didn't? The choice is yours.